Hey guys, I'm going to do a quick review today of, you know, Frostmaiden here. I tried doing this last night, but unfortunately I was not able to do the whole look at the book, flip pages, and talk about it deal. So I'm going to do a brief, kind of quick spoiler overview of this book, and I will just get this out of the way. I'm kind of iffy on this book. Not in a good or bad way, but kind of if it's for first time DMs, I'm out. I don't feel comfortable running this. So that's not a bad thing, but I definitely recommend veteran DMs running this, or even there are parts in this you could take out and use in your other campaign. I don't see you going to Barovia with this, for example, but I mean, if you needed to do a quick adventure to fill in a gap, yeah, I would recommend a couple things from it. But if you've noticed, I do have the alternate cover. I had to get this because the thing I know the most of Icewind Dale is, of course, Baldur's Gate 2 had an expansion about it, and I was told when I went to one of the cons, I was talking to one of the guys, and they told me about Icewind Dale and how of an amazing place it was. So I figured I would get the alternate cover for this, especially since right now I'm collecting a lot of the alternate covers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. I'm just trying to get the other ones as well, because I mainly get them for decorative stuff. Like, I mean, this is decorative, so any which way, Chapter 1 discusses 10 towns, and you can have the player show up in any one of those towns or travel to one of those towns. They have a starting quest where you either have to go after a serial killer, which everyone I've talked to seems to be, like, bored with it. Like, it's just too generic and boring. I feel that if you flavor it right, you can actually turn it into, like, a serial killer in the snowy tundra and, like, spice it up a little bit more. It does feel kind of bland compared to the family-friendly other one where you basically catch, I thought it was a fae, but it's like a nature spirit, and you bring it back to someone for research. That one, I don't like it for the fact that it's just too straightforward. I like kind of the murder mystery that the serial killer one has, but going further, chapter 2 kind of gives you more backstory with the towns, what's going on in the area. From what I could skim, it does have side quests, so I think it says it recommends at least doing 2 to 3 before leveling up the characters, because at chapter 3, I think you have to be maybe 5th level or so, because the end of the campaign starts at level 7, because it's a 1 through 8 adventure, 8 plus, because you can still go higher, which I definitely recommend at least getting to 10, because from what I saw from the end game, it seems pretty ridiculous for 7 or lower to even be there. Sorry if my sinuses are acting up again. I'm still in my science season. But I do notice, like, Goliaths have a special ability being up there, so they have a special thing. They also have some really cool stuff like character secrets, which I think a couple people have said, like, it'd be nice to have the perforated paper, rip it up, and then have it as a stack to have with this. But I can also understand why not to have it too. We could probably not have a place to put this and just completely lose it. So I think someone will probably make them printable and we can cut them out. But where else was I? The monsters in this I do enjoy. I like the snowy owl bear, the Megans from the level 7 spell crate Megans. I thought were pretty interesting. The kind of, though, remind me of, like, Mr. Meeseeks and Rick's kids from the latest season where they just say I am. But they're pretty cool. They come in like 3 flavors. They come in a fighter type guard, a elemental magic user, and a psionic user. And that's basically like the ritual time takes very long, but if you if you're able to cast it like 7th level, good luck. Because I don't think I've never really played a magic user, but to get this spell, you have to have one of the books, one of the magic item books, and just trying to do it, the materials are very costly from what I was looking at. But I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't like the Blade of Chaos, for example, and Frost Fingers. I thought was okay. It was just burning hands, but with ice. But when you get further on, let's see what else happens. The wilderness encounters and blizzard effects are probably the best part about this book. Is it's an actual campaign that gives you weather effects. Now, me with Dino Island, I'm working with a hurricane. This is kind of nice just to see them do like a blizzard effect. A snowy tundra has somewhat of an effect to you if you mess up. Like, for example, if you do the knucklehead trout minigame where you're fishing, if you fail horribly, you're going to fall right into the water and your clothes will get wet and you get I don't want to say you get a debuff, but you get some type of effect on you until you change your clothes. The blizzard, however, is due to the fact that I can't say the lady's name, but the Icewind always casting a spell at night to keep Icewind Dale under a snow winter season, which is the main driving force of the whole campaign, but it really doesn't pick up until, I want to say, Chapter 5 it starts, then it resets for Chapter 6 and 7, and it blows my mind how they did that, because how they have it set up is because if you defeat her in Chapters 5, Chapter 5, because Chapter 6 resets it, you basically beat the campaign. She should be, I think she's supposed to be either be pleased for you passing the trials, or you actually defeat the 3 forms of her. If you don't defeat the 3 forms and you kill like one of the things that she has with her at that area, she flees to a different city. But then again, I'm very confused with the last sections. I kind of get the whole Island of Solstice, but the encased in a mountain city that has a demolich, I still have to reread and actually figure out. I'm still confused by it. However, the best part about this campaign, which I kind of love-hate, is the chapters 3 and 4, which has you going after like Zardok's fortress up in the mountains, and by the time you get there, a big giant dragon. I hate that it's a dragon, but it escapes, and you have 2 options. You can stay at the fortress for a little bit while it's destroying the town, or you can take chase after it, as it has a flight pattern going to the 10 towns. That's what I kind of like about it, is you could chase this thing around 10 towns and go after it. But the best way I could describe those chapters being is it reminds me of just Smog destroying Lake Town, and I think that's what I get the vibe of it from, is you're just going after him, him or her, because I forget what this dragon is, and you're going after this dragon just so you can basically save the people of 10 towns, buy them time to get out of the area, and then also defeat the dragon as best as you can. It's basically a big giant metal dragon, but I didn't read more into it, especially in the monster section of the book. But after that, you kind of like drawed to the Frostmaiden on the Ice of Solstice, and then after that, you pretty much, I think one of the side quests kind of gives you the ability to open up a schism in the mountain, and you go through that, and you go to the Cave of Hunger, which is basically where most of the Easter eggs are from what people were saying. I only really caught maybe I think one reference, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. All right, I had to sneeze real quick. Yeah, but it references like to John Carpenter's thing in Alien. Um, really, I feel that, especially in this setting, I would rather try to run something where you would introduce the characters to the serial killer, and then you kind of can do like, especially I was getting vibes from like the Cobalt vampires. You could do like a 30 days a night kind of deal, or you could do John Carpenter's thing and just have like half the town get consumed by doppelgangers. That would be something interesting to actually have, but I don't think that's going to be possible. I could write the source for it, but currently right now I'm just trying to get Dino Island fully formatted and revised so I can get it out to you guys in time. Released by Christmas. But the last few chapters really do bother me. It's not like you're retreading through going after her. It's I have to go back and like really sit down and look through it because I'm kind of confused how you go from Cave of Hungers to the big ginormous city, which is nice. I like the big ginormous city that's frozen in a mountain, but trying to go around that city and then to finish off the Icewind really doesn't really vibe with me that well, I guess, because you have two major dungeons. I like to consider them. You have the island, and then you have the city engulfed in ice. Those were your main areas you're going to be at through majority of the campaign, and you're not going to be. You'll probably be in 10 towns for a while, and there's again, of course, 10 towns you can travel to that are in between this area. But the epilogue I found interesting because you either win or you lose, or you mess up and you go back in time. However, going back in time, I actually prefer the idea that, because what it was saying is that basically you go back so far that Forgotten Realms doesn't exist. Okay, so then what are you going to do? It says in the book that you should probably pick up stuff that is prior to Forgotten Realms and run them through it. Okay, great. But I don't want to, because I really don't know what would be before Forgotten Realms, because I'm still getting used to 5e. So I was thinking the best way to get around this would be, what if I were to have the players redo the campaign? Hear me out. What if you had the players do either a Back to the Future thing where they're going to go back to certain moments in the campaign that they royally failed, like maybe the first trial of the Frostmaiden, or you can have them reset back to the starting quests or one of the other quests and have them kind of 1 or 2 sessions start to catch up to time and play it ahead to make sure that they get what they need done right without interacting with themselves. Or you can do it the Days of Future Past way, which I was thinking was once you travel back in time, you immediately are reset back to yourself. So you're going to project into yourself. So now you have to redo that section as yourself. So whatever you do in the past will affect your future. That's kind of how I looked at it. Is I didn't want to, because it looked like you had like 2 bad endings and 1 good ending. And I figured the time travel one, you could make it a little bit better by giving them kind of a 1 more chance kind of a deal. So, all in all, with this book, let me grab it again, which I gotta say, really do enjoy having this cover. I like the snow effect to it. Yeah, I definitely would put it next to Descent into Avernus, but I will probably do another review of this later on when I review all of the books, because I plan on doing that. But I just don't have the confidence to sit there and go, okay, I'm going to read this, have good notes, and then discuss it. Just like right now. Just doing this real quick because everybody's doing it, and I figured it'd be something nice to talk about on the channel while I'm currently working on a lot of stuff. So, all in all, I actually do enjoy the book. I find it very entertaining for a snowy tundra. It's definitely well worth the buying price, but with a catch. I don't recommend new DMs starting here. I've heard a lot of people, you could go from Essentials Kit into it. best way I could describe going into it, from my point of view, is you can have your party be dragon slayers, and they hear something about, a dragon up in the north. That could be a lead-in for that. But there probably will be ways to intertwine this into another campaign in the future. It only goes up to level 8. So if you wanted to go even higher, you could. But then again, most mods end at like 10 to 15-ish. I think there's maybe like one exception to the 15 rule, but a lot of them end at 10. But I don't know. I guess that's Wizard of the Coast's problem, because after like 10, I guess it gets really broken for a game. Any which way, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I hate saying that every time I do this stuff. If you guys like me talking about these books and want me to talk about like the Pathfinder books, the Starfinder books, or even like this Firefly RPG I have, please let me know in the comments below. I will be doing a Tales from the Basement soon. I have just been super busy with trying to get Dino Island out the door, so we have a DM's Guild content that no one will probably buy or read or play, but it's something to add to my library of writing. And I have been dealing with agents at the same time for my actual novel. So for my writer fans out there that are watching the YouTube channel, thank you for staying around and knowing that I'm super busy. And for my D&D people, thank you for watching the video. I'm leaving.